so good to see you. How are you?
Lovely to be here.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm a bit better than I sound,
right.
but probably not quite as good as I look. I don't mean I look gorgeous, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel a little bit weary, but generally the news is good.
Good.
Lung cancer always scares the living daylights out of people, but like all cancers, there are lots of different sorts, and I was at the lucky end of it. And so I've had surgery, it's removed the cancer.
Great.
I've still got to have chemotherapy just to make sure it doesn't come back.
Right.
But generally, I feel really pretty positive.
Well, you're a fighter, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You are a fighter.
Yeah, well, in a sense, you can only deal with what's in front of you, can't you? But sometimes people use the word brave about people who have illness. It's not a word I'm very comfortable with, because in a sense, I think there'll be lots of people watching the programme who are themselves ill, and this is their company. It's a lonely thing, being ill. If you're in the public eye a bit, in a sense, we're lucky, because we've got people kind of willing us on. We've got all the support people we work with, the people who love us at home, our friends. But for a lot of people, it's a very isolated thing. It's one of the reasons, in the end, I started writing a book about politics, and I ended up writing a book about being ill as well, because I thought maybe it'll help other people.
No, it's a fascinating book. I mean, it's a fascinating book from the point of view anybody who's interested in politics, and right now that's everybody, will really, really enjoy this insight that you get. But how weird was it for you to be making the news rather than reporting the news?
Really odd.
It must
I mean,
be
really
strange.
odd. On the day that the news came out, and bear in mind, in a way, some people said to me, why didn't you just keep this private with your family? We only discovered that I was ill and had cancer just a few weeks before the election. So in the sort of job I'm in, if I'd simply disappeared and said nothing,
what's going on? Yeah.
A, that, and then they think the worst. And I've got kids, 2 still at home, 1 at university, and I didn't want people to approach them with a kind of funereal look. And the problem with that C word is people always assume the worst. And we know that there are lots of people who fight cancer, there are lots of people who get better from cancer, there are a lot of people watching this programme who know family and friends and relatives who've got better. So, in a sense, I just thought it was important to be open about it. But yeah, it felt very odd. Suddenly, I was on the way up to see my mum to break the news because I wanted to do it face to face. And then on the same day, a press release was put out. It was a very quiet news day. And suddenly, it was breaking news on a news channel. I thought, this is surreal.
It must be very surreal. Now, we can hear in your voice, obviously, the treatment has affected your voice. How are you dealing with that? How are you coping with it? Is it difficult?
Well, that's the hardest thing. You know, if you're in our sort of job, your voice is who you are. And I think for a lot of people, the voice is their identity, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you like the sound of your own voice,
and we do, really.
We do like to talk.
So do I.
It does take some... the vocal cord, the nerve to my vocal cord got damaged in the surgery. Lots of lovely people have come up with honey and lemon recipes and hot toddies, and I'm afraid none of it works. It's a muscle thing. So I have to do a lot of exercises.
Right, so
my kids think it's very funny because I wake up, I have to go, first thing in the morning, I have to go, mum, 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 because it helps the vocal cords come together.
Okay.
So if they want to take the mickey, they go, dad, 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 back again.
But you know what? See, if you don't have a sense of humour, you can't get through things, I think.
Well, I had 4 days where I couldn't speak at all after a little operation. So I discovered on your phone, on your smartphone, it can convert any text into a voice, a bit like Stephen Hawking's. So I'm a lifelong Man United fan. So I started doing Manchester United chants in a Stephen Hawking's voice. Romeo and Juliet, it was all quite good fun, actually.
No, it would be good fun, it really would. But you were determined to cover this election.
Yeah.
You're absolutely determined. Nothing was going to stop you, not even cancer.
There are going to be people who are now going to, splurt their coffee out when I say this. But if you're in my sort of job and if you're passionate about politics, an election is a bit like a World Cup. It's the big thing, and it only happens only every few years. And this one was a particularly gripping one because the outcome was so unpredictable. And you'd have the Scottish referendum, and you'd have the rise of UKIP and so on. So I just wanted to be there. So getting there for election night, which I was able to do, the big drama of it, and doing that exit poll, that felt like a big psychological goal. And I think for a lot of people when they're ill, some people just want to crash, be private, just rest. For me, I needed a goal, and that was it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can completely understand that, Nick. I really can. And when are you going to be going back to work full time and things are going to get back to normal? Do you know?
Well, I hope in the autumn.
Great.
So I'm still working. I'll pop up on the news from time to time, doing something today, for example. But when you're having chemotherapy, you have to have little breaks and time off and so on. But come the autumn, I hope the voice will be back to pretty much normal.
Good.
I'll be feeling fit again. And I can stop boring on about being ill and can talk about the thing that I love, which is...
Politics.